What's the residual on this? In other words, how long does it last?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad you brought it up. Unlike magnesium, like that we had discussed, that burns sort of bright and then loses its flare, you have a refreezing, and then the next storm that comes along, you really need to reapply the product. The same is true with magic salt, with one exception. When this product goes down, when this liquid hits or when this granular product hits, it bonds with the pavement and creates this sort of magnesium barrier that controls the ice. It, over time, over a couple of applications in the wintertime, will have a residual effect. So if you get sort of this quarter-inch of snow, which we get around here an awful lot, no need to come back out. And this is really one of the greatest time-saving or money-saving things about the product is you don't have to do those repeat applications. Similarly, if you apply, for instance, in the morning, the product melts much faster and therefore gets to dry pavement faster. So in the sun of the day, in the middle of the day, we get this dry out situation, so at night we don't get the refreeze, where with rock salt or maybe calcium chloride, you get to that wet puddly kind of, and then refreeze at night. So less return visits. Also less plowing and less shoveling required. If you put this product down ahead of a storm, if you're going to get a couple of inches or an inch to an inch and a half, which we get a lot of here, it'll actually burn it off in many cases, and where it doesn't burn it off, it makes it soft and slushy underneath it, so people can walk on it and sort of get to work without slipping and falling, saving time for the homeowner, shoveling, saving money for people, having to pay contractors to come and shovel the product away.
Does VDOT have this yet? VDOT?
No, they don't use it yet. They're fully aware of it, though. They know about it, but they're not using it yet.
But what they're using now is what? What are they using?
They use rock salt, sodium chloride. Which below 18 degrees, as we discussed, is not very effective, and also, sort of highly corrosive. If you look at this chart,
what's that chart all about?
Take a look at this chart.
I'm going to set it right
if you
here.
can zoom in on that. The first one here is sodium chloride. These are relative corrosiveness of different salt products. So here's sodium chloride. Here's calcium chloride. Here's magnesium chloride. Distilled water, and magic salt.
Magic salt is way down here.
Way down there. Way down there.
And that's the corrosion versus the calcium. Oh, okay.
And the way what they do is they measure how many parts per million of salt is left on the surface after the storm. They measure how much is left hanging around on the pavement. And of course, the rock salt, I'm sure you've seen these white films all over roadways and things like that. And that's an indication that there's far too much use. And I know that some people use the sand and salt to control the ice, and sand has been proven really to be not effective at all. And believe it or not, the Chesapeake watershed hates the sand as much as they hate the salt.
Yes, and the phosphates, it's in the fertilizers and so forth.
So for those places that are having sand, you don't have sand anymore. You don't have any cleanup.